Hey guys, Reno here. Welcome back to Banger Racing here on BeamNG Drive. Keeping this going along with my Wreckfest series because they're kind of the same but different enough, I think. And up front today, still on the Road Atlanta circuit with the glowing red no texture trees. It's the new car for this round. It's the Satsuma 1200 van, but with a 1.4 just to make it that little bit quicker. Otherwise it was just a little bit too slow even for a front car. In second place, we have the boat. It's not Natalia, the best of all time. It's a Grand Marshal Beta with a working 4.5 V8. Again with no exhaust, so all the smoke is not from the engine, it's just there's no exhaust there. And in third place, we have the return of the police car. It's still the same old ARZ V6, just gone to bring back the police car one for this round. And in fourth, we have the car that needs to win, another white car. It's the Pursuit Sport T-Top. And then at the back we have the 200BX V2 Rocket Bunny with a 4-litre V8, because otherwise it's just way too slow with the 2-litre i4 this thing spawns with. So I'm going to slow everything down for a sec. And I'm using the Road Atlanta circuit here, going the other way around this time. So this, where the Satsuma is now the third line up from what's going on. Yeah, so using the Road Atlanta track backwards. Fastest car at the back, slowest car at the front. If the car that needs to win the pursuit doesn't, it will be out in the next round, along with any cars that DNF or get lapped. If every car finishes, the car in last place will be out. Unless the car that needs to win doesn't, then he gets a lifeline. So let's see everything just implode immediately. Because the Pursuit and the 200BX will catch up a lot quicker than normal, because going the other way I can't really work it till they get to the corner. If they're coming the other way, this is where they usually all meet into the braking zone, so things will be more chaotic. And of course, because all the barriers are designed to work the other way, so if something gets impaled on the first lap on this straight, I will reset it, but anything after that it will be out. And this thing apparently doesn't want to go anywhere, so let's get that started now. Way behind, but at least it's going. All the cars do have a little bit of a different risk factor, because they all spawn on 0.3. I hold it down to get as close to as 0.69 as I can. Sometimes it's dead on, sometimes it's a bit over, sometimes it's a bit under. And the Satsuma really is tiny. It is such a small car compared to, well, anything else. Especially when you've got a giant land yacht of a car behind it, the Grand Marshal. And the two fastest cars got a bit catching up to do, but they've got 2 laps to do it in. And there's a bit of smoke there, so I don't know what that was from. There's a lot of shoving going on as well, and the Satsuma's going to get sent round, is going to get on the corner of it, and he gets pitted. Going to get sent round now into the wall to slow things down. Is this going to be a little tap though from the looks of it? Oh, that wasn't a tap. That was not a tap. And yeah, that's it dead. I would say this is still the first straight though. I need to see if anything else has happened between anything else. No, that's it. That's it. Everything else is still going fine. But I will give this thing another chance, because that was the barriers. So if it still stays in last place, it will be out anyway. So that thing's on its lifeline, but it's the slowest car, and it's already now in last place. So I've not got high hopes of this thing. The back of the Grand Marshal is off of the ground. I keep thinking it's a Pursuit today, so I always get the car names wrong at some point. Now then, are these two stuck together? So what I do to very scientifically test it is to put the car behind on disabled, slam on the brakes, and see if they separate, which they now have. So now I can put it back onto random, and it can get back going again. I think they were actually a little bit there stuck together. On the test run, the Pursuit had caught up pretty quickly, because these being AI, they never do 2 things consecutively on 2 separate runs, so you get what you get, and sometimes they don't really go very well. Now then, the Satsuma. It's got a nice name. Actually, I should have made this car orange, shouldn't I? It's called a Satsuma after all. Now then, into the twisty part. This is where the Grand Marshal was surprisingly good before, although the ALZ with a lot of speed. Too much speed. It's taken out the Grand Marshal as he has, but he's taken himself out though with it. And now then, it's on the racing line. Going to get things slowed down. Get on board now then with the Pursuit. We just slow things down there a little bit. Now then, are they going to get themselves back in the line, or is the Pursuit now takes the lead. The car that needs to win now takes that all-important first place. And now then the 200BX, which had a slow start, is now going to meet a wall of cars trying to come back onto the track, onto the racing line, straight onto the racing line. And there's going to be hefty contact there because of the speed difference with the fastest car hitting the heaviest car. And now they stuck together. No, they're not. The Grand Marshal is going to get sent round again. It's a heavy car, but it doesn't take a lot to get it spinning if you can hit it with enough momentum. Now then, with the ARZ being passed, that should now just pull off into the distance. Although the damage actually is lucky to still be going, since it is front wheel drive. Here's off a front wheel, that would be it gone. The Pursuit, absolutely pristine still. This thing's not made contact with anything yet, mainly because it hadn't caught up to it at any point. Once again, the Grand Marshal showing its good turn of speed through the twisty bits, being really heavy, and the brakes probably not being the best, given this thing's probably spent about 10 years being outside, not going anywhere. It carries a lot more speed than I was sure it intends to. Also, the door being missing, I got a little bit of weight reduction in there as well. And then the real question is, how is the 200BX doing at the back of this queue? Being the car that, with smashing its radiator into the back of the heaviest car here. The fastest car is not overheating yet, though. I think that it's somehow just with the... You okay there, Beam? There we go. And make sure that's not mucked up their recording, though. No, it's all still going on the timer that it should be on, about 7 minutes or so. And how's the Satsuma doing? The Satsuma is doing just fine. And the Pursuit out in front, pulling away nicely because there's not really much, well, under AI control, there's not really much difference between the cars, but if you put the faster one in front of the slower one, you will notice the difference. Now then, the 200BX is back on the back of the Grand Marshal, going to try and shove it wide, because things definitely go a lot quicker this way around, I've noticed as well. Maybe because everything's got a high risk factor this time as well. And the Satsuma's got a little bit of a wiggle. It's also rear wheel drive, which probably doesn't help that. But it keeps it under control. He was lucky to get another chance, because anything gets impaled. Like I said, everything's designed to work the other way on this circuit. Nothing's designed to go the way around that we're going around this track. Also, that also means that the curbs can be killer as well. Take out tyres. They get shoved sideways, and some other tyres have. Oh! Get me pause out for a sec. The 200BX. Oh, dear me. Taking out its front bumper over the curbs, and it's now eaten its rear bumper. I'm going to slow things down. I'm now going to grab hold of the rear bumper, turn up the other force, and try and drag it out from underneath the back, well, what's left of it anyway, and get things going again, and now it can get going. But how did that not break something important? The radiator surely must be gone now. Something has to be missing, apart from obviously the cosmetics. But let's give the Grand Marshal a little bit of a breather, and also give the Pursuit a bit... Why is this a Pursuit? Maybe because they're the same colour this round. Talking of the Pursuit, way out in front, let's get the cinematic camera angles going. This thing's going to have a nice cruise around to victory. It's not going to catch up to the Satsuma or anything. That's still in last place, but it's still going to get onto the second lap, way out in front of anything else. And now somehow this thing still works. Do the lights still work, though? Actually, I don't think they're attached anymore, even if they did still work. Satsuma's easily going to make it onto lap 2. And these cars are no slouches. You're still getting over 100 mile an hour with a car in this condition, which actually has one of the... they realised that this car was at a 200BX rear light. I can't really tell. It's dangling somewhere it shouldn't be. That's really all I can say about it. Now, brake overheating could also be an issue, because everything's going quicker this way around, and a few of the cars, like the Pursuit, have issues with the brakes. So they could end up shooting off, and because this way you haven't got any nice fancy gravel traps to slow you down. Everything, like I said, everything here going the wrong way. You just got very hard walls that stick out the wrong way, tyre barriers that stick out the wrong way as well. Now the BX is now catching back up to the Grand Marshal. So the Grand Marshal through the corners is actually catching back up to the ARZ. I can open the trunk by pressing O. Oh yes, I can. Not that there's any really point in doing that, but yeah, that works. The trunk still works, can confirm. And then the Grand Marshal, a little bit of a gap, although that gap's not going to exist for much longer. Going to slow things down because now the speed difference really coming through once again. And once again, the 200BX just does more damage to itself than it does the Grand Marshal. I mean, all these cars can finish in the order that they are, because they're all going to be through into the next round if things finish as they are. Although the bit of smoke they're coming out of the Grand Marshal brakes, and now that's gone round, but it's spun though onto the racing line. That's going to have the bits go the long way around. It hits where the door should be. The Grand Marshal gets a little bit of a hit on the rebound, but I think everything came out of that relatively okay. Although no, it hasn't. The Pursue is here now? Why is the Pursue here? The Pursue's not in the lead anymore. I don't know what's gone on there. It must have spun, ended up going the wrong way, completely missed it. The Grand Marshal though is getting himself going again. So now then it's the ARZ that leads the way. The Pursue had it in the bag. Must have spun out because I wasn't paying attention to this thing because everything was, like I said, the brakes are an issue. But I didn't think they were going to be an issue. Now the 200BX smoking heavily, like a chimney at this point. Actually, I don't think a chimney can smoke this much. But I'll give it a drag oil cooler to give it the best chance of not overheating. But that's under natural conditions, not under being smashed into the back of another car like 50 mile an hour. So that does change everything now. If all these cars don't if something doesn't finish, suddenly the Satsuma's back in, and there's wheel damage here to the Grand Marshal. But I think it should be okay to get around. And the ARZ, which almost took its wheel off on the first line, see the damage there on the fender, and on the front of it as well. If that took off the wheel, that broke. Not being in the lead of the race, and quite frankly, neither can I. This thing had it in the bag. I really need to do races this way around more often then, if we're going to get action like this. But the car that needed to win, it's going to be out. So it means we're going to have. It means we're going to have a new fourth place car, because this saves the Satsuma if everything finishes. As I said at the start, the car in last place, it will be out if the car that needs to win does win, which it's not going to, which means the Satsuma gets a lifeline. As everything is still smoking away. At least there's nothing that can catch on the curbs this time, surely. The Satsuma crawling its way around nice and slow, taking it easy, because it's not going to know that it's going to be through into the next round. As things stand, because nothing is final yet, nothing's crossed the line yet. Something could get stuck on the curb. I mean, I think everything's a little bit too high up, but still, these cars can give punctures. And getting a little bit there unstable under the braking as well. The ARZ just uses a little bit of the curb, that's alright. Staying mostly off them though. Now then, round the final corner, it's going to be a little dash up to the line for the ARZ. And the Pursuit though, it's going again. It's got going fine. Somehow the fuel tank has survived, or has, well, survived enough, I should say. And now then, coming up then over the finish line. Wait, is that one of the finish lines or the next one? No, it's the next one up. The third line next, just past the Hirochi sign here. Coming up now then, over the line, we've got a new winner, the ARZ. And I have to keep it now then. Well, I don't have to keep it as the police car, but I probably will now. And then let's get on board with the 200BX, which is going to be the car to finish in second place, recording its best finish and going 94 miles an hour. Jeez, that thing got up some pace there at the end. And then is that going to have a massive crash? Yes, it is. That is not stopping. How close is the Pursuit to finishing, though? Because I'm going to have to watch that first. Which line is it coming up to? You know what, I should be okay to watch the crash first. Let's slow it down to 4 times speed, because there's no way this thing's stopping. Oh, impact detected, you don't say. And that's just destroyed the rear wheel on the back of the ARZ. And then let's get back on board then with the ARZ. You see that they're always going from 0 to 22 miles an hour under no power there of its own. Let's get the Pursuit over the line as well in P3. It had it in the bag, but it made a mistake, and this thing isn't stopping either. And all the brakes are dead. The after race chaos this way round. yeah, that's settled it. Races this way around are happening much more often now. As everything, it just, well, the spoiler, I'll say survived. It's still attached to the car. I'll leave it at that. And then, is the Grand Marshal going fast enough to have an end race crash? With anything. Anything's on the racing line at this point. It's 69. Nice. Nice. Let's get that though onto stopping. And let's see if it does. Yeah, the beta car, which should have the worst brakes, is the one that actually stops. And stops on the racing line. Let's see. Do these things still move? I'm not sure. Well, somehow the ARZ still moves. Yeah, that goes fine. Doesn't really stop fine though. The Pursue, that it's a struggle. It's a struggle to get the power down, but it will still move. And the 200BX, I'm not sure if this thing can actually go anywhere at this point. No, that's not going anywhere. Alright, where's the Satsuma? Satsuma's almost made it. You know, let's get the cinematic camera angles out for the Satsuma. Cinematic Satsumas. And this thing, nice slide there through the final corners. This thing has really thin wheels as well. Has quite a bit of body roll. But it is also a fairly light car, so that generally doesn't really matter that much. And then round the final corner, just look at all those no texture trees growing, thriving in the wild there. That's going to be coming up then, up to the finish line. It got lucky. It played by the rules to get itself fixed. Because I don't know what exploded on it, but something did. Crossed the line in last place. But it doesn't matter because it's through. Now then, is this going to have a crash at the end? Or is this thing going to manage to stop? Depends how the brakes are on this thing. The brakes, honestly, they don't seem that good, but the thing isn't fast enough to really do anything about it either. So the car that needs to win in the next round, the ARZ 200. So if you enjoyed this episode of Banger Racing, and this is the exact reason I'm keeping this series going, more carnage we can cause, the better, I say. So if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like on this video, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. If you give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram, that'd be much appreciated. They'll be linked in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all with a lot more chaos. The exhaust staying in the same place actually. That's about the only thing that's still where it's meant to be. And I'll see you all next time.